What's good, y'all? What's good? Speaking Clout Podcast, we live Sunday night discussing episode 4 of Dear Mama, the Feeney and Tupac Shakur, the Saga of Afeni and Tupac Shakur, the documentary on Hulu, FX, directed by Alan Hughes. And I'm going to apologize for my tardiness. Something came up on my end, but we live now. I'm joined by my brother, like every Sunday during this docu-series, my boy Raka Bash. What's going on, brother?
It's good to be back for another week to recap episode 4 of Dear Mama, the Saga of Afeni and Tupac Shakur. And I'm glad to do it with somebody that knows Tupac's music as much as I do, which is you, Mike Sears. And it's always a privilege to be back, on Speaking Clout.
Hell yeah, bro. You're fucking... The door's open anytime. You already know the vibes, my boy. And, boy, man, last week I said that episode 3 was my favorite. But, man, I don't know now. Like, this just to me personally, this keeps getting better and better. And, like, too many people are sleeping. The ones that know about it, they know, Or you got those Tupac diehards that just fucking don't want to give Alan Hughes the props because what happened, you know what I'm saying? But hey, I was like that, But that nigga silenced me with this shit. And I was thinking, I was just fucking around playing 2K, and I was thinking, I said, my favorite hip hop documentary is of Mikes and Men, Wu-Tang Clan. My second favorite was Radio That Changed Lives with Stretch and Bob. That has to take a back seat. My second favorite is probably this, or it might trump the Wu. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll get into what gave me chills during this ep, but my fucking God, this is some of the greatest work I have ever seen, ever. And I don't give a fuck about Alan Hughes getting jumped and doing the doc. He did this man justice. Shout out to Machiavelli Media. I think I talked about him before. He's from Baltimore. He gave praise to this doc too and said the same shit I said. Said it's the best Pac doc ever, and I can't agree anymore, bro. I feel strongly about this documentary, and me and Raka break shit down like scene by scene on this shit. So let's get straight to it. I had to say that, Raka. I just had to put that out there. It's powerful every fucking episode, my boy. So it begins with a shot of Clinton Correctional Facility, and you hear audio from a news report saying Pac was serving time. Pac's father, Billy Garland, talks about visiting him in jail because Pac wanted to see him, which is dope. Because a lot of fatherless children that don't know their father just don't want nothing to do with him. But Pac wanted to build a relationship, so that's dope to hear. It touched on Me Against the World being done before he went in prison, but wasn't fully produced. He was on the phone with Edie and all those dudes saying turn the guitars up, just getting the production down tight. And if y'all know me, Me Against the World is my favorite Pac album. I think it's just his magnum opus, my personal opinion. And they had Pac had planned on stop smoking weed when he came home. According to his manager, was gonna change the world and shit, until Shook came along and talk about signing Pac in jail with David Kenner and Shook coming to visit him. While Pac was incarcerated, Death Row was holding him down and shit like that. His ex-manager said he thought it was a bad idea, so they stopped fucking with Pac, the rest of the old crew. And we got audio of Pac saying that he wants to change things when he gets home. And, bro, the way Alan Hughes does it, like he starts playing California Love Remix. I love when he does this. So I'm doing it the same format as the other weeks. I give my little synopsis of the beginning, then Raka gives his whole breakdown, then I give my breakdown. So, Raka, what's your thoughts on this, to me, incredible episode 4, brother?
Well, first, speaking of Alan Hughes, when it was announced that Alan Hughes would be the director, I have the same reservations as everybody else.
Likewise, brother.
And I was optimistic because I'm thinking Alan Hughes would have been a real sucker to still hold a grudge more than 30 years after he was assaulted and to use this movie as a vehicle to do a hit piece on Tupac.
Yeah.
And it would have been immediately called out by the public, and his reputation as a filmmaker would have taken a hit. So for him to really think about it and shed all of his bad feelings about that incident and to take on a project of this magnitude, it speaks to his maturity. And when you're 50 years old, man, you shouldn't think like you were, 25 years prior.
Big facts. If you do, you're a fucking lame. You gotta grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So uh, the opening shot, it pans across the Clinton Correctional Facility, and it's a gargantuan stretch of road,
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and it's in upstate New York, and it's in a quaint town, and you can tell just from the uh, the scenery that it's a very white bread town.
Oh yeah.
The people are uh, quite racist, and all things white is uh, is what governs people socially and on other fronts. But when this cousin talked about how uh, they tried to lift his spirits up because Tupac was surrounded by hardened criminals, and he was around hardened murderers that was stabbing other inmates and correctional officers.
Mm-hmm.
People that are getting killed over murder beefs and drug beefs, and there's no peace when you're in confinement, you know,
Yeah.
and it definitely uh, puts in perspective why Tupac wanted out of jail so much. Now, going to prison is bad no matter who you are. But when you are as famous as Tupac was, and his surname was controversial to many people in law enforcement, and they wanted to uh, punish him for not just his uh, uh, alleged crimes, but they wanted to punish him for uh, the people that they couldn't, get, that runs through his revolutionary family tree.
Yo.
Uh, his family, I'm glad they interviewed his cousins and
Oh, I love that.
his aunts, because we've always seen like industry insiders in previous documentaries, but I really enjoyed their recollections, like the cousin that's sitting by the bonfire,
Yeah.
like
Yeah, with the cornrows and shit. Yeah.
yeah, like he seems like a cat that just likes you know the country life, he is good natured, and he seemed like a good person just to kick it with, like very down to earth. And uh I'll stop right here.
All right, brother. Yeah, man. Just they really touched on so many, even the little simple things in this documentary. When it shows Pac, he bought his mom a house. Well, should help for that. You know what I'm saying? And it shows his aunt frying chicken.
Mm-hmm.
Simple things
Who
like
doesn't
that.
who doesn't love good food?
Exactly. That. That's that alone is fucking insightful for me. A Feeney showing Pac's birthday cake. You know what I'm saying? From '96.
I thought it was pretty ironic considering that phrase. I'll leave it
Yeah.
at that.
Yeah, little things like that, and then talking to Tim Roth from
Mhm.
Gridlocks, who played Stretch. I love Tim Roth. I'm a diehard fan of Reservoir Dogs. Even they would say the fucking N word with the hard R in there, like crazy. Quentin Tarantino is, but I still love that film. Pulp Fiction, he's in there as well as the robber in the
He was
restaurant.
great in Hoodlum.
Oh, he's fantastic in Hoodlum. Like, how the fuck does this white motherfucker from the UK talk like us, that like American? That's crazy talent. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I love Tim Roth. He talked about how Pac was a funny motherfucker, and Pac was busy. He said, and people were trying to start beef on the East Coast. They filmed it on the East Coast during on set, which was crazy. They never knew that. Then they showed the Entertainment Tonight footage I never seen before when they're smoking the cigarettes and Pac's
Mm-hmm.
talking about his fashion sense. That was really fucking cool to see. I love that shit. Uh, what else? I love on this doc.
Oh, I really
Head
love
brother?
that. I really love that scene when Tupac was taking the piss out of Tim Roth. Because it really just showed just how, like, when there isn't a lot of BS around,
Yeah.
like, he can just be good natured. He can just be silly and just be he don't take himself so seriously, and he was like his magnetism. And when he was speaking to a reporter in front of Von D. Hall, the director, like, to me, even in that professional setting, it wasn't that much different than the setting that he probably learned from at the Baltimore School for the Arts.
Yup.
Where you just experiment, you indulge in, um, your creative ideas, and you just let it fly.
I didn't know that Von D. Hall directed Gridlock. I never knew that. That's dope as fuck. I'm just learning that. You know what I'm saying? That was really dope.
Mm-hmm.
You know. Shout out to Ray Hugo TV. He said that scene where he is at school with that white sweater on. I swear that had to be his mother's sweater, a testament of how poor he was back then. Yeah, man, Pac was very poor. That's why I love that quick scene when Edie from the Outlaws said he was balling on you niggas. You feel me? Like when the death
Mm-hmm.
row days came, boy, even before that, like he was a bum nigga on the block, but now he's balling, straight balling. Pac always said that shit. You know, it's true.
And that's why I love when Edie said, he spoiled himself because he lived so long impoverished.
Yeah,
And once you work hard and you've put in that 10,000 hours, you deserve to indulge. And he bled for it. He to be the king that he was. He bled for it. I mean, literally, with the police, with the courts, you know, uh, with certain street stuff.
yep, all that shit. And oh my god, I love how they show Pac from a child up into the death row days, like that fast flashback they do. I
Mm-hmm.
just love that. Also, some of my favorite footage ever. I seen this years ago, but Pac is at Club 662. He got the jean attire on, and he's dancing the dog pound Let's Play House.
Yeah,
I love that shit. I know it's simple, but I just always love that shit. They show that in here, which is very fucking dope. Love that. They also show Pac's homeboy. I think his name was Ian. I could be wrong. That they grew up with in Baltimore, I believe it was. Before he moved to Oakland. It's a bald dude with glasses. That was Pac's homeboy, and it was dope to see him.
oh, that was John Cole.
John Cole. There you go. Thank you. I'm gonna fucking get Ian from, but yeah, it's the white nigga names. But that was dope to see that. That was cool to see that. His cousin Jamala, she cracks me up. They moved to Calabasas, and
Like,
she's like,
nigga, we here, we live here.
"Yeah, we live here." And if you black folk, you gonna get that humor, man. That just made me. I was dying. That shit me cracking up. Um, I also like how they touch on the director of Two of America's Most Wanted. It shows him in here. You know.
Goldie.
Yep. Definitely. Thank you for the name, Raka. And he just talks about how Pac was just ready to record, and the original dude didn't want to record the video, and Pac's like, "Let's just motherfucking do it." And he just said Pac was dope as fuck and one of the realest motherfuckers he ever met. So it was dope seeing him. Uh, also, like this, when his cousin Billy, I think his name is, when he said that first gun he ever saw was a Feeney shit. A Feeney had the fucking heat at the crib, you know, and you see the Black Panther paraphernalia with the fucking pigs getting their brains blown out, and he's like, I don't think that's good for a child's mind. But Pac was seeing that shit from birth. You know what I'm saying? And he was getting fucked with legitimately from the police. And I got harassed by the police before, probably not as bad as Pac, but I know what that shit's like. And, you know, fuck the corrupt ones, fuck the racist ones all day. And I like that they touched on that. Very, you know, minute, but it was dope to touch on that. Oh, yeah, her laugh was infectious, bro. That cracked me the fuck up. Yeah. Ray Hugo TV knows the vibes.
I mean, that scene where, you know, Billy describes their upbringing, you know, with the Panther pictures, you know, of you know, police as pigs and getting, you know, slaughtered. Like the police, the police department, they were so insidious, like wiretapping, you know, following Tupac's family to find the whereabouts of people that went on the run, and, you know, having to lie, you know, to police, and learning how to not give up too much information, and being aware of who's watching you, and at that young age now people can see why he did not like the police.
Absolutely.
Why he was so why he would give the middle finger. Like a lot of his public persona, I'm talking about, like, to the establishment, why he was so anti-authority and rebellious, is because his formative years was spent being conditioned to absorb the mistreatment of the police and landlords, and that's another thing. They were so poor they couldn't afford to keep their lights on.
That's so fucking sad, yo. Big facts. And my family was like that. I didn't grow up like that, but my uncle told me that he used to grow up like that. So I could only imagine what that was like. You know what I'm saying? And he has like rats in his fucking apartment as well. His homeboy said, like, that's no way to live. But hey, when you're in poverty, things like that do happen. You know what I'm saying?
And when you have infestation like that, like, you're not going to get much sleep because you're constantly, trying to keep, roaches and rats off of your body, and and I'm sure, like, I'm guessing, but I'm sure he may have, ran away just to get some relief.
Yeah. And like Ray, Hugo just said, I just about to bring this up, when he defended his Geronimo Pratt against that interviewer. I love that. He was like, when you witness to the murder, you will not disrespect my family that way. He's like, I will never disrespect your family that way. I fucking love that. I believe that's when he was just about to get settled into jail. You know what I'm saying?
He was already he had been transferred from Rikers Island
to Clinton, right?
In March of '95. So okay. He had been, so when he did that deposition, that was June 30th. So he had been there for, I think, 3 or 4 months.
Thanks, Raka. See, that's why I got Raka on the show. The information is impeccable. But I love when he told that nigga that. You're not going to disrespect my family. I love that shit,
And in that interview, when he invoked the name of Geronimo Pratt, I believe he was trying to get a reaction from Tupac. Like, I think he was trying to bait Tupac into screaming and yelling at the interviewer, but Tupac calmly, told the interviewer that you will not disrespect, Geronimo Pratt, not to his face.
Yeah, he's like, you sound like Cotel Pro. He has a fuck to that nigga say, yeah.
And he didn't, and the interviewer didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, he's like, huh? I'm just asking you a question. Fuck you. You know you're doing, bitch.
And I think he was already in jail, so what more could? So I think the interviewer might have been like, he clearly was offended, but Tupac was like, I'm already in jail. Like,
exactly.
Like I don't even want to answer these questions, but I'm answering these questions because legally I'm obligated to, but it doesn't mean that you have the leeway to take pot shots at his godfather. And if you look into Geronimo Pratt's case, the courts was already mishandling evidence and colluding with the district attorney.
Yeah,
to have his case mishandled, and I believe he was framed.
Pac? Yes. Oh, Geronimo Pratt?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And Feeney tried to help him out with that as well.
Yeah, him and she and her and Mutulu.
Yeah, they brought up Mutulu as well. That's Mopreem's daddy, isn't it? I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's Mopreem's father and Tupac's stepfather because Tupac because Afeni and Mutulu married.
Yeah.
So that's how Mutulu became his stepfather. But yeah, that was my favorite scene in the entire episode.
That's up there for me. There's two of them that might have that beat, but that is absolutely right up there.
I'm dying to see the entire deposition.
Oh yes, definitely. Love to see that. Lone Ember brings up Snoop was like, I just beat a murder case. I can't be wound out like that. Like, here's the thing, and I say this all the time. I have a soft spot for Snoop Dogg. I really do. And I have some smoke for Snoop Dogg. So we're getting to both of them, okay? When he beat the murder case, I was happy. I watched this shit happen. I was 11 years old. I was seeing it happen in real time. And when he does shit with Katy Perry and does shit with Martha Stewart, they have some whack shit. You know what? This man could have been facing life in jail. Let him live. That's when I give him some leeway, But when it comes to Pac and how he didn't hit him up, I believe me and Raka spoke about this. I think he's full of shit. And how I think going on Hot 97 and saying he was cool with Biggie and Puffy was some fuckboy shit. I'm sorry. That's the way I grew up. You know what I'm saying? I was growing up. You ride with your nigga. I was growing up that way. I'm not going to chill with the ops, bro. I was never like that. That's some of the most corniest shit ever. You, nigga, Biggie got you shot at, okay? Biggie called the radio station in 9-5 when y'all niggas are shooting New York, New York off the Dog Food album, Dog Pound, and they shot at the fucking van, bro, So I don't get that. And you were kicking down the buildings then. Snoop dissed Biggie on records that weren't released. You know what I'm saying? I don't get why he would do that. Knowing how much Pac was riding on them fools, I will never understand that. I stand behind saying Snoop is whack for that 110%. That's just me personally, Raka. I never liked that narrative, and I love Snoop to death. But yeah, whack.
If Snoop would have said, in hindsight, I wish, Tupac would have thought twice about, putting out Hit 'Em Up, but to get on your high horse at 52 years old and and now say that, you didn't like Hit 'Em Up, when it came out, it makes it seem like you know, you were Mr. Saint, that you didn't do, that once you were acquitted, that you didn't do anything wrong, that you didn't hurt a fly, and Tupac
Yeah,
was, causing a reign of terror on Bad Boy and Mobb Deep. Like, come on, like y'all were label mates. When Tupac
exactly.
made Hit 'Em Up, he made Hit 'Em Up partly to defend the West Coast and Death Row. And what does Snoop always claim to be the king of?
The
The
West
West
Coast,
Coast.
exactly. And another thing, Raka, what I hate this I don't want to get off subject, but this fucking narrative with these rappers today. Styles P, I love you, brother. I listen to Styles a lot. I'm a D Block Mark. I'm a diehard fan. But you saying that Hit 'Em Up was disrespectful? It's a fucking diss song, my boy. I just don't get these
Yeah.
rappers. That in their feelings 20 something years later.
I mean,
Shut the
like
fuck up.
like like when Styles P made Shot Down dissing uh G Unit.
He said I'll
Was,
piss you.
was, was that
Look,
a gospel song?
hell no. I think he dissed 50's kids. He might have dissed Marquise or something. I can't remember. But they were going hard at 50, bro. You know?
Exactly. And to me, I like in Styles P, he certainly is somebody I truly admire
Yeah, I love him.
for for especially with what he's done in the health and wellness industry, trying to get our people to become more healthy.
Yeah, the juice bar, right? Yeah.
Exactly. But dude, like you don't have the moral authority to say that Hit 'Em Up was too disrespectful when the Locks has made a career out of being some of the most disrespectful rappers ever, man.
Big facts, Rocker. You know the vibes. I don't like that. And all these other dudes with his Pac fucking shade. Ice T does it. And I love Ice T. He does it. Snoop does it. These dudes do it. I fucking hate it. I agree with you, Cruz. I love Snoop too, but fuck.
Man, like you remember what's that song, Troublesome?
Oh, that's my shit.
When Tupac said, "Niggas talk a lot of shit, but that's after I'm gone because they fear me in the physical form."
Big
Every
fat.
time I see, things like that said by Styles P or Ice T, I think to myself, would they have said this to Tupac's face when he was alive?
Hell no. I don't think so, man. I don't fucking think so.
Like
Oh,
like
graffiti.
like it, like oh, and there's a certain popular DJ from New York who will go unnamed
Oh
that
yeah, I know
found
you're talking about. Fuck him.
found his boss, 20 years later, and to this day he talks about him like like he's still alive, like you beefing with a ghost at this point.
Facts. And this bitch ass nigga does. He got Botox. You a hoe ass nigga. I don't like you. Never will. Fuck you, dog.
He
Um,
also didn't he go on IG and he had some surgery filmed of him getting fat sucked out of him,
some weirdo shit. Yeah, yeah.
and then try to uh, he brought up the theory of Tupac shooting himself, but he didn't. He said it to be antagonistic.
Yeah.
Like, dude, like, yeah, exactly. Like, when have you ever had to defend yourself and fight for your honor? Like, when have you ever put it on the line for anybody else but yourself?
I hate that dude. I really do. I truly, and I don't hate a lot of people. Hate is a waste of emotion, but fuck that dude. And another thing, Rock, I want to say this. Pac went to fucking Snoop's trial. Where the fuck was Dr. Dre? Where was Andre Young? Nowhere to be fucking found, okay? Snoop, that's like Rock. I haven't beef with a nigga, and I side with that dude, and Rock is there for me. No, fuck you. That's just the corniest shit ever. I wasn't raised that way, and I just don't like what Snoop's doing. I love Snoop, trust me, but that is really corny. And also, Daz, thank you, Graffiti. I think I talked about this with Ricardo, one of my other Speaking Clout brothers. But the moment episode 1 for Dear Mama gets aired last month, this bitch ass nigga Daz puts up the document of a Feeney suing him. That's lame. Okay? she's not here to defend herself either. And I love Daz to death. He's my favorite member of the Dog Pound. The best member lyrically is Corrupt, but Daz is my favorite. Me and Raka reviewed Retaliation Avenger Get Back earlier this year, or maybe late last year, I can't remember. But yeah, I love Daz, but that was corny as fuck. I didn't like that at all.
And also when Afeni sued Daz, Tupac's assets was in probate. So she was in charge of collecting all of his intellectual property, his music, his movie scripts, any poetry, anything that that could be made into a commodity. She had to try to claim ownership of it, because if she didn't, somebody else that had no part in making it would have exploited it. And Daz, his personal relationship with Tupac is one thing, but when it comes to something like business, once, like, especially with the Feeney, man, like, you should not have talked about it publicly when she was alive, but now that she's with the ancestors, man, don't put that post up, because it makes it seem like you were done wrongly by Afeni, when that wasn't the case.
And when the doc gets aired, he's a clout chasing nigga. I don't like that, brother. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It rubbed me the wrong way. It really did, I didn't like that shit, man.
Especially as Afeni, she's finally being acknowledged for her entire legacy.
Mm-hmm. And to do that is just some pure and utter sucker shit. I don't know what kind of weed that dude is smoking nowadays, but that is just completely fucking stupid. Yeah.
I think another one of my Aunt Glow.
Oh, I love Glow. Absolutely.
Yo,
I was the original pot groupie, she said.
When she was at the house at Club 662, and she's having a good time, but through no fault of her own, she didn't realize that when she was when her natural hand movements from his vantage point, it looked like she was throwing up gang signs.
Yeah. And Pac was doing the cut it out shit upstage.
Yeah.
That was fucking fantastic.
And I think, and I'm sure she's seen him in concert plenty of times, but I think Tupac was concerned for her safety. I think that was the main reason why he had somebody tell her to sit down, because with so many in that element, they some people may not care that you're Tupac's aunt. You know what I mean? So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that was dope seeing that. She throwing up blood and shit. Now, unbeknownst to her, though, that was great to see.
Yo, I loved it when the camera panned to her when she was sitting at the table, and even when she's just speaking, like, her natural hand movements look like gang signs.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty interesting that in any other environment that Tupac would not have been so concerned.
A lot of people talk about they get chills, Raka. They say, I got chills when I seen that. And that could be true. Like, you couldn't be exaggerating, but I find that shit to be exaggerated sometimes. But no, I got legit chills when the theater teacher was talking about how Pac did the Don McLean song Vincent or whatever, about Vincent Van Gogh, that Starry Starry Night, and that's playing. And it transitions to Hit 'Em Up. Oh my god. My arms and face just completely goosebumps. Okay. If I get goosebumps, that means this shit is incredible. Like, that blew my wig back. Amazing documentary, man.
It was like the weirdest mix of emotions. Because of that scene when the drama teacher at Baltimore School of the Performing Arts spoke about Tupac's assignment to choreograph with his body the works of Vincent Van Gogh. It's bittersweet because it's like a dream deferred. Because like, what if he never left Baltimore, and in that environment, he probably would have went on, maybe pursued acting instead of a career in rap music. But you feeling bittersweet, and it's in the emotional roller coaster of the sweet folk song, uh, juxtaposed with the images of him at childhood, and then you cut right to him performing "Hit 'Em Up" at the House of Blues.
Oh my
It was
god!
like it went from peace to wartime in less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, Lone Amber, that part, I swear, like certain things give me chills. That gave me, I was like, oof, I was like, yo, I'm witnessing some amazing filmmaking right here. Yo, like this better win a fucking Emmy or whatever the fuck awards people get for TV shows. Um, bro, I can't. My uncle, who taught me everything about hip hop, he hasn't seen this yet. We're gonna sit down and watch all 5 parts like next week or something. I can't wait to show him this because, my God, like incredible. I love that part. Another part I fucking love. It shows Snoop talking about how, after the Hot 97 interview, they went to go to Vegas. Snoop went to go to fly to LA, and Snoop said, "Yo, you going to the Vegas fight, cuz?" And Pac like shushed him away with his hand. And then they land after 5 hours, and Snoop had the knife and fork under the blanket. So did they land, and then he's like, "You going to the Vegas fight?" Didn't say nothing, walked right past him. And when Snoop says, "I went to LA," they went to Vegas, and it shows Vegas, and motherfucking Blasphemy starts playing, bro. That, I don't know, little things like that, oh, they won me over, Just that's filmmaking,
Yeah.
Just that shit playing Blasphemy, I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait to episode 5. That got me, Raka, that got me.
Yeah, that was near the end of episode 4, and you remember that scene when Tupac and Snoop were being interviewed after the MTV VMAs, and Tupac is dominating the interview, and you just pan to Snoop, and Snoop, I think like he's in La La Land, like he's high, yeah. Like for all we know, he could be thinking about going to sleep, or thinking about going going to visit Biggie, because Snoop get down.
Yeah, Snoop was just like dumbfounded. I don't know what the fuck was going on with that nigga in that interview, bro.
And even when at the height of the East Coast West Coast thing, Tupac said, hey, we're businessmen. Like, both of us have to exercise greater restraint. So in Tupac, his attitude was, if Bad Boy or anybody wants to take this opportunity at the VMAs to puff their chest out, Death Row does that better than anybody, but they weren't here for that. And I thought that was really important to show, when the interviewer was trying to get, when the interviewer was trying to bait him into saying something inflammatory, Tupac, he said some slick stuff, but he also tried to diffuse it to the best of his ability.
Yeah, like he said, if they want it, we're gonna bring it to them like only Death Row could. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yep. And I remember seeing that shit, and I was a kid. I was 11 years old seeing that shit. Never forget that shit.
As an aside, do you think Julio should have won the MTV VMA for Gangsta's Paradise over California Love?
No way in fucking hell. And I love Coolio, always have, but no. Especially that video ain't that popping like that. King's Paradise. California Love on some Mad Max shit. Like, yo, Raka, I used to watch that video all the time and get excited. I would wait for them to play it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And what I love about California Love, when Pac wakes up, that beat playing, that
Mm-hmm.
shit is fire. They should have used it. I think Dre must have did it. I'm guessing. You know, that shit's fucking ill. You know?
I mean, speaking of Dre, I do have one pet peeve with this episode.
Yeah.
Just bear with me for a minute.
Okay, Rocket, floor's yours, brother.
Are we going to act like Dr. Dre really liked having Tupac on death row?
I love. You could tell he's like what's the word for it? Hesitant. I don't know if that's the right word, but they give that nigga prop. You know what I'm saying?
I think the word that I will use is disingenuous.
But yo, thank you. Yes, my uncle would say something like that. That's a great word to use for a situation like that. Yeah, disingenuous. That's fantastic.
And I really got a kick out of Dre saying, you know, it's one of my favorite recording experiences, because usually most rappers, they'll come out of the booth and walk through the control booth to hear the playback over the speakers. But Tupac would say, on another beat, put on another beat. Bro, if you look at All Eyes on Me, Dre only produced 2 songs.
California Love and Can't See Me, correct? Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. So if to me, if I was Alan Hughes, I would have followed that up quickly with, really, y'all recorded more than the 2 songs that are on All Eyes on Me. I would. To me, it just seems like Dre doesn't he doesn't want to show uh, any ill feelings towards Tupac, because to be respectful of the dead.
Mm-hmm.
But I just thought it was pretty disingenuous for him to say, that it was one of his favorite recording experiences.
Yeah, he's fronting on that one for sure. Just fronting for the cam. You know, disingenuous is a great word to put it.
Especially when California Love was slated to be the first single for his own album, but
Yo,
Suge forced Dre to give California Love to Tupac.
yo.
So I would have respected Dre if he would have just said that.
Yeah.
Like, like, like it's. I mean, it's what, 30 years after his death. Like, nobody is going to uh, get on Dre for saying his piece, as long as he's not disrespectful at all. But
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, Dre and Pac hated Dre, when he died and shit like that. They didn't, mend fences or whatever. But yo, another footage I like. I seen this before, but when Pac got the wig on doing Super Freak, Rick James
yeah,
shit, I always love that. It just shows Pac, you know, having fun, because around that time, which they touched on, Pac was stressed. Tim Roth said it. Pac was stressed. He had 40 people to take care of between family and homies, man, and doing verses, writing verses, recording verses, um, everything he did. Scripts, he wrote scripts, which I didn't know he did. Um, Filming, that's a lot of stress for a 25-year-old, And I love what the director of Two Americans Most Wanted says. He's like, where the fuck was Jesus when he was 25? You know what I'm saying? What would Pac be like if they let him live for 30 as 33? Oh my god! Like, I think you touched every single scene almost in this doc.
speaking of that scene that you're talking about, when uh, it shows Tupac in the studio uh, with as many as 40 people on his payroll.
Yeah,
I thought about MC Hammer's heyday when he had, I think, like 100 people on his payroll,
oh shit! God damn, Hammer.
and he almost went broke. And I think the difference between Hammer and Tupac, I think Tupac eventually would have said, I need some of y'all to pull your own weight.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because,
Yep.
family, yes, but not for the homies, man.
Yeah, the
Like,
little homies and shit, like that's always outlaws and shit. Yeah.
and I thought it was ironic that Edie said that somebody should have told Pac to take a break.
Take a break, yeah, take a year off or something.
But the thing is, though, would Edie have said to Tupac take a break when Edie was part of the Outlaws? And I mean, I hate to say it like this, but Edie was in no position to tell Tupac that.
Pac would have said, "Little nigga, I'm working," something like that.
Yeah, like, I'm taking care of you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like if I don't know if Essential said that or something, hold my weight, Afeni, his aunt. But
Yeah.
Edie, nah, Edie's in no place. He was a teenager, I believe, around that time as well. So yeah, man.
I was and also it doesn't, the episode didn't show this, but
Yeah,
he was also working on the One Nation album.
One Nation, yeah, man.
Man, like I think that One Nation album, it would have did a lot to kind of soothe over the tensions that had been pulling between the East and the West. And I'm not saying that the R would have been forgiven, because Biggie, Faith was the punching bag for Tupac for damn near a year, but I think the One Nation album, it would have been like an olive branch to at least come to the table and try to find some resolution.
Absolutely, boot camp all over that shit. I wish that would have came out, bruh. Would have been amazing. Oh yeah, how Pac told them students not to make fun of his name and give a 10-minute speech about it. Yeah, with his cousin Jamala saying, "Your Pac would get involved in certain things, like don't put your hand on your woman like that." You know what I'm saying? Or he's gonna be a Black Panther when he grows up and shit like that. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that because it speaks to his pride in his surname. It shows his pride, his sense of self, his pride in his heritage,
Mm-hmm.
and to have the emotional wherewithal to defend his family's honor like that at that young age and do it so succinctly. It's adults can't even do that.
Facts. That's why I always say, if there is a God, man, shout out to all my religious people out there. I'm kind of in the middle. If there is a God, he made Pac differently. He broke the mold. I always thought Pac was at 25 years old. Pac was acting like a 40-year-old man. You know what I'm saying? Yes,
Yeah.
Pac did do some immature, wild shit, but for the most part, he was a fully grown man. Like above his time. I always thought that shit. Like, Pac was different, man. He was a revolutionist, a poet. He was everything, man. I said this last night. Last night on Speaking Clout podcast, we reviewed Shaq Diesel just for shits and giggles. It was one of the funniest episodes we ever did. Oh man, all four of us were cutting up last night. But I mentioned this, man. My top 3 rappers of all time is Nas, Ghostface, and Notorious B.I.G. But guess what?
What?
Biggie's out of there. Biggie's out of there. I'm more of a Pac fan now. Pac top 3 for me. I over this documentary and over the couple of months, I got to put Pac over Big. There's more body of work. I just like him more than Big as a person. You know, I don't know these people. Obviously, I was a child when these niggas are blowing up, but I'm just saying I'm more of a Pac fan now. Pac is in my top 3. I had to mention that, and this documentary is just something else. If you think there's too many Pac documentaries,
then don't watch them.
yeah, watch this one.
Yeah.
If you watch this one, because if you think there's too many, I don't want to watch this. No, fuck that noise. I was motherfucking on the side of it not being good. So was Raka, but guess what? We gave it a chance, and man, it is mind blowing. I went as so far to say it's my favorite hip hop documentary of all time, and it might be. It might just be. We gotta wait till Pop 5 comes out. But it's up there now, man. This shit is fantastic. And I cannot wait to next week. I get so excited when it hits Friday, you won't even know. I cannot wait.
I think Tupac is one of the most interesting figures, not just in rap, but in music. And Tupac, I mean, I love Biggie as well, but Tupac to me is more interesting as a rapper, more interesting as a person. And when his drama teacher talks about how, as an artist, you have to be able to live in your own vulnerability and be able to, act in the dark and the light. So it explains why he can write a song as poignant as Dear Mama and then write a song as incendiary as Hit 'Em Up. Like those swing of emotions, they're extreme emotions, but he covered every aspect of the human condition: happiness, sadness, introspective, pensive, silly, anger. Like, it's interesting when Hit 'Em Up was being introduced, and Money B said to Tupac, I don't really like this song. It sounds vindictive. And Tupac replied, man, forget that song. I got like 5 albums already in the can. And crazy. I think Machiavelli was closer to the target to what most Tupac fans wanted. Like, if All Eyes on Me if it sounded bloated, if it sounded like the music and the lyrics wasn't it wasn't what they wanted to hear from Tupac, I think Machiavelli kind of did more to satiate that appetite, because songs like White Man's World, Hold Your Head, Crazy,
oh my God,
Life of an Outlaw, Blasphemy, To Live and Die in LA, like those songs are just as good as Brenda's Got a Baby, Keep Your Head Up.
Absolutely. Machiavelli, the Don Illuminati, the 7-Day Theory, to me, is a fucking classic. I love that album. Love that album.
And like, I actually like Machiavelli a little bit more than Me Against the World, slightly because of.
I'm not even mad at that.
Because with Machiavelli, he really, like, his worldview, it came into focus fully. Like White Man's World is pretty much a love letter to Geronimo Pratt, Motulu, Sekou Odinga, his political revolutionaries. And then Against All Odds, where he's going right at Haitian Jack, Jimmy Henchman, and kind of settling, the street stuff on wax, and just going right at them, right between the eyes. And, Crazy, I Forgot Me and My Girlfriend.
Oh, God. Love
that's
that
so raw and impassioned. And the songwriting, to me, Um, anytime I hear people say, Tupac wasn't quote unquote lyrical, man, I point them to Machiavelli. I point them to Me Against the World. You know,
Yes,
Apocalypse Now, man. Like to me, that's that's people that can wrap their minds around the fact that punchlines do not make a great rapper.
exactly. Though I always hated that narrative. Always. Pac is fantastic. Songwriting skill, subject matter, everything is a 10 for me.
Because I
You know what
tell
I'm
you
saying?
right now, you can name the most lyrical MC in the world. They can do, they cannot do what Tupac did with his most, uh, with his best songs, like Shed So Many Tears and Dear Mama, White Man's World, Me and My Girlfriend. Because if punchlines is what makes a dope MC, then comedians, would be considered the greatest of all time. Then,
Hmm. That's so true, bro.
you know, Godfrey would be the goat.
Dudes that say that shit are like a lot of East Coast biased niggas. You feel me? Like dudes that don't even give a fuck about the fucking process of an album. You know what I'm saying? You niggas are playlist type dudes. You know, that's what I look at it as, man. Pac was an all around artist. You know.
And a lot of those MCs, man, like they're great at mixtapes, but
Hmm.
can't make an album, man. Like it's easy to rhyme over popular instrumentals. What can you say in 3 or 4 minutes that will touch the listeners' hearts?
Exactly. Exactly. Y'all niggas think Cassidy is a top tier rapper. I don't think so. But
I
yeah.
mean, if you let Cassidy, tell it, he's better than Tupac, Rakim, Kane, Ghostface.
A lot of facts, dog. Crazy ass niggas, man. Get lost in the whirlwind. That was Garvey.
What do you what do you think? What do you think should be covered in the next episode?
Oh, good question, Raka. I think obviously Orlando Anderson for sure. The shooting, of course, is going to be touched. I think a Feeney's death should be touched on there. Pac's legacy. Um, I'm at a standstill for anything else. What do you think, Raka? I just think it should go deep and it should be amazing, which I think it will be because they never let me down yet. My personal opinion.
Yeah, I think what should be covered is it may be I truly doubt it will be talked about because it involves a lot of legalese, but I would like for them to talk about Tupac's decision to fire David Kenner, Death Row's attorney,
Yeah, we should touch on that.
because to fire the attorney that drew up the contract that became the basis for the albums that was submitted, and one of them became uh, the best double album, uh, to sell, to go diamond. I would love to know what did Suge truly feel when he learned that Tupac fired David Kenner, and he was thinking about trying to uh, gain more ownership of his masters.
That'd be great digging into that. Like you said, the legal shit. You know what I'm saying? But I would love to see that, and also what Graffiti said because that motherfucking that was an abomination. Absolute terrible fucking film.
Yo, I remember when I went to go see All Eyes on Me at the movie theater.
Likewise, Raka. 2017, I think it was. I'm trying to. I think it was maybe
Yeah, it was
16.
2017.
Yeah, yeah.
When they, to me, the decision of Benny Boom to reenact scenes from Juice
Oh
and
my
Above the
god,
Rim is a head scratcher.
dog! There was me and my uncle and one other dude, and he was laughing.
Like the actors that did the reenactment, like they didn't have like the guy that played Q didn't have any lines. And the dude that was playing Leon's character, Shep, he didn't look anything like Leon,
Oh hell no!
and he just stared into the distance while uh, the actor playing Tupac just talked to him. And then the ending with the gospel music,
Oh god, like it's getting raised up to the heavens and shit. That was whack as fuck, bro.
man, it looked like one of
Oh
those. It looked like one of those black stage plays, like Tyler Perry.
yeah, it
You, you
did.
know, you know those, those black theater plays.
Oh yeah, because before Tyler Perry blew up, my mom used to get the VHSs from my auntie from Tennessee, Chattanooga, Tennessee, and she would watch them. And yeah, definitely to something like that. Before he even had a movie out, he had the plays out. But yeah, definitely something like that. Yeah,
Man, like once Tupac got shot, you could have ended the movie.
exactly. Fuck out of here. The
Or if you
voiceover
go,
was trash too.
or if you're gonna play a song, during the credits, man, like you could have played a Tupac song. You could have played "Who Do You Believe In." It would have fit
Yeah.
thematically because "Who Do You Believe In" is a song where Tupac is talking to God. It's like a prayer to God about why do the poor suffer the most? Why do black people uh, 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 why black people are often the last? And in the Bible it says, the first will be the last, but how come on earth black people are last and the aristocrats are always, the first? It's a very deep song, but man, there were several decisions that I wish Benny Boom would account for.
Yeah. LT Hutton, yo, I think it was his real page, Raka. He went on my video and he said, "You should give it another chance." I'm like, the nerve of this motherfucker. I spent my money and I'm gonna give it another chance? No, I'm not gonna give it another chance. Shit is terrible. Okay? Point blank period.
If like if you went to the movie theater, clearly you gave it a chance.
Exactly. We physically went there. Didn't pirate it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And I was so disappointed. I was so fucking disappointed.
Yeah, and after this, man, there's no need for another Tupac biopic ever.
Never. Just watch Tupac Resurrection and this. Yo Gucci. And then whatever else you want to watch. Tupac Immortal, Thug Angel, you know. Because that
Yeah.
doc is crazy. We need nothing else.
And you know what's going to? I mean, after the last episode airs, of course, there's going to be people that feel. I'm not talking about the family. I'm talking about the. I love art of dialogue, but
Likewise.
man, just wait. In the coming weeks, you're going to have people going art of dialogue to the question, the accuracy of the events, and the way that the movie was directed. If you're going to like the way that it was directed, that's fair game. But I don't want to see like people going art of dialogue and question the perspectives of the family.
Yeah, the nerve. The nerve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
They'll probably do some shit like that.
because I think the guy in the dreads, Jamal Joseph,
Yeah.
I think he's one of the most incredible sources for both Afeni and Tupac's lives. He speaks very well. He's has a lot of integrity. Same thing with Watani, man. Like, and there was something that Jamar Joseph said when he said Suge did not want Afeni uh, getting in Tupac's ear or something to that effect because he was afraid that Afeni would influence Tupac to be on a better path or something to that effect. To me, I think that's all true.
Absolutely.
Especially Tupac was the cash cow, and what was working for Death Row was Tupac and Suge's eyes. But I think Tupac eventually would have wanted to break away from Death Row, and the more information that he took in from Afeni and those close to his family and from outside of the record industry, the more he would have wanted to take greater decision making in his career while at Death Row.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah. Youth in Asia records, you know what I'm saying, supposed to drop and all that. Machiavelli, all that shit.
Absolutely.
Hey,
I got every Tupac album that I have is on cassette.
That's amazing, brother.
And I remember when I bought Me Against the World, man. I bought it at this record store in Highland Park, and of course it has the album poster on the new releases section.
Yeah.
And there was there was a whole section for Me Against the World, and I bought Me Against the World once. It was somebody stole my copy. I had to buy another copy, but man, Me Against the World, I listened to that record from for the better part of 6 months, man.
Oh yeah, man. I got the cassette after I seen Above the Rim on HBO. I was 10 years old, very young, and I played that shit nonstop. I listened to that shit today, and I got fucking flashbacks like crazy. I posted it on Instagram, and I'm happy. I'm a music nerd, so I got the OG on Interscope. I don't got the Maru Ja version, and I got the gold parental advisory, which it looks beautiful. So shout out to Me Against the World, my favorite Pac album.
Somebody yesterday, they was talking somebody. What I heard, I think it might have been, I forget. At any rate, man, Strictly for My Niggas, it's not a classic album to me, but I don't understand how anybody can just, outright say that it's a bad album.
Oh, it's not. And to be honest with you, Raka, when I was a kid, I liked Strictly, always liked Strictly, but it wasn't my go-to. I was more of a 94, 96 Pac fan. But right as a 37-year-old man right now, I love Strictly for My Niggas.
And I think the difference is, if you look at Me Against the World, to me, that was my favorite album of 95. But if you look at the other releases from that year, the infamous East 1999, DJ Quick's Safe and Sound.
I love Safe and Sound, but yeah.
Exact in a Major Way by E40.
Liquid Swords, Only Built for Cuban Links. Yeah.
Yeah, Do or Die by AZ.
Fire.
Me Against the World stacks up well against all of those albums.
Absolutely does. It's fucking incredible. I was bumping it today, the whole album.
Yeah.
I skipped Can You Get Away. I'm not a fan. I'll be honest. It's the only song I don't like on Me Against the World.
Yeah. I mean, and then if you compare that to Strictly for My Niggas isn't as good of an album as Doggy Style, Low End Theory, Into the Stage by Black Moon, 1993 by Naughty by Nature.
Enter the Wu-Tang 36 Chambers. I don't think it's good at that either.
Return of a Boom Bap by KRS-One.
Oof.
So, Strictly for My Niggas, it's not a classic album because there are some songs on there that that I could take it or leave it. But as a whole, there were better albums in '93. In '95, Me Against the World could have been album of the year. Same thing with All Eyes on Me in '96.
All Eyes on Me is just a powerhouse. I worship that record. Me and Raka reviewed that maybe 3 years ago, somewhere in that wavelength. Incredible album. Absolutely.
That was the first time I heard of Sibo.
Likewise, yeah, because I didn't hear the solo shit after.
And unlike how it is today, man, like a guest appearance, it was like a guest appearance on a high profile album like that. It was about gaining exposure because in the 90s, man, like somebody like Sibo, he's so regional. Like you may only have heard about him in the Bay Area, but for me in Detroit, no, like his reach wasn't that far. Whereas in 2023, man, I don't care what nobody says, the idea of quote unquote features does nothing. I don't care what anybody says. You can look up any artist online. But that's just my rant, man.
Oh yeah, brother. I'm glad you said that shit, man. And closing, I'll say this: Graffiti says, I think out of all the rappers that need a biopic or either a docuseries, it needs to be Big L. How many times a Big L documentary has been teased and not one of them haven't come out? I agree. When I first got the internet back in 09, I'm late to the internet game. I never really gave a fuck about the internet until like 09. That's when I got it. I always borrowed my ex-girlfriend's laptops and shit like that. But I remember seeing a documentary trailer called Street Struck. Had Showbiz from Showbiz and AG on there. It looked really dope, and it never seen the light of day. Then during COVID, Mass Appeal dropped this trailer, got me hyped, never fucking came out. What the fuck?
You know what was weird about that?
What about?
How did they interview Peter Rosenberg but not Lord Finesse? What the hell was that about?
Yeah, I can't stand Peter Rosenberg. You know that, Raka. Yeah, fuck that dude.
So, I totally agree with you. I think, Big L never had. He never went in his lifetime. He never went gold, and people could poke holes at his career. He wasn't, commercially, he wasn't up there with Nas or Biggie or Mobb Deep. But I think one of his greatest influences was how he helped inspire many battle rappers, particularly Harlem battle rappers, because like Murder Mook, Loaded Lux, T-Rex, K-Shine, Charlie Clips, they all credit Big L for inspiring to write.
Some of the most ridiculous this world punchlines I ever heard. He gets that from Lord Finesse. I think Finesse is incredible as well. Digging in the Crates crew, I'm a big DITC fan.
Mm-hmm.
AG, fucking
Showbiz,
Early Joe, I love. Diamond
OC.
D. OC is my favorite member, bro. Word Life and Jewels are just classics to me. I love Digging in the Crates crew. Showbiz and AG, Runaway Slave, and Goodfellas are so fucking good. Yeah, I love Digging in the Crates crew, bro.
Yeah, I think, man, like, there's been 2 Big Pun documentaries.
Yep, I think Still Not a Play is incredible.
I mean, it is good, but I don't think it could have been as. To me, I think there's still you can improve on a Big Pun documentary.
Raka,
to me, it seemed like a it seemed like it was like an appetizer.
Yeah.
But
Raka,
yeah.
maybe I like it so much because it came so early. It came in 02 when niggas weren't really doing docs like that. So I understand why you think it could be improved for sure. Yeah. I come to think about that. Yeah.
And like when that when the first Big Pun documentary came out, yeah, you're right. It was still fresh because Cube. This is how long ago it was. Cuban Links and Fat Joe were on speaking terms.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
I think the challenge now to do a Big Pun documentary with the with the scope. I won't say like a big documentary, but like I say like for mass appeal, I think Cuban Links, Fat Joe, Terror Squad, we have to be involved. We ain't gotta like each other, but we have to be honest. And I think that's the challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta have that shit amazingly done. Because Pun deserves it too,
Yeah, and like I brought this up maybe a couple shows ago, but like when rappers make it big from their own hood, what usually happens is that people in other states they come to visit that hood.
Yeah.
So imagine like if Big if Biggie had lived, Biggie buying his block on St. James and Fulton, or Nas buying a Pete. Well, maybe it's easier said than done, but I would like just to see, a greater preservation of these areas where rappers come from, because they become gentrified and you see like weird stuff. Like I saw a video of a white girl, doing some weird dance in front of Marcy Projects.
Oh God.
Yo, bro, like there's people that have come as far away as Europe to come to Detroit and go to St. Andrews or go to Eminem's old block where he lived at.
Kind of reminds me of that Asian dude that went to Cleveland and got robbed. Remember, Rocky? You put me onto that shit, bro.
Exactly, and that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, Eminem made Dresden famous, but that doesn't mean it's a good idea to go on that block, at 2:00 in the afternoon and thinking that just because it's daylight you won't get robbed.
Facts, bro. Niggas think shit is sweet. But I'm gonna end it here, Raka. We had a good hour and some change. Shout out to the chat. Next week, Dear Mama, the Saga of Afeni and Tupac Shakur, episode 5. It concludes, and we'll give y'all a review and recap on that. So with that being said, for Speaking About Podcast, my boy Raka Bash. We out this bitch.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.